what I want to ask you most about today is obviously I'm interested most in the topics of love and relationships, and I haven't had the opportunity to dig into many INFJs. So I know you can't speak for all INFJs, and I'm not expecting you to, but I'm very curious about your own views as an INFJ and having, interviewed a lot of people, and maybe extrapolating some of their views about things on relationships. I wanted to know, what do you think about how do INFJs flirt? And how do you know if an INFJ likes you?
An INFJ flirting.
Mhm.
I typically find that they don't initiate the flirting. It's typically the other party probably initiating the flirting. And
Yeah.
an INFJ, the ones that I know aren't that smooth with flirting back. Some of them might, uh, but some of them are actually a little awkward back if they've never received flirting before back in their lives. And so they enjoy it though. No matter how they receive it, it's something that they appreciate, especially if you're the object of their romantic interest.
Okay. What would you say the style of flirting is? Like, for example, I think ESTPs are probably the best flirts, but I don't think it's a natural ability. I think it's one that's acquired over experience and time, because we're not afraid to be playful and try different things with people. And also we observe like other people, like, oh, that was smooth, I'm going to use that, I'm going to do that. And then over time we become good flirts. And I think the ESTP way of flirting is quite physical without being like assaulty. But like, positioning your body, using looks, using little touches and stuff to show your interest and engage with the person and signal to them that like you should flirt back, and trying to make them comfortable. Lots of compliments, and trying to place the right compliment and show that you really see through the person and you're seeing something unique about them that you want to comment upon. That's what I would say is the ESTP style of flirting. So what do you think about the INFJ style? I hate this light that is like right here. I'm trying to move away from it there.
No worries. My lighting always looks like I'm going to be abducted into heaven in a few minutes. So
yeah, it does. You look very angelic, and I've just got this one window right here that's driving me crazy.
Whenever I go into Zoom, I just can't help it. I just don't change the settings, and it just looks like I have a halo constantly shining down on me. And so we're both in a weird situation.
Yeah.
I do find the EPs to be the kings and queens of flirting. No one can top an EP in terms of flirting, whether it's an ESTP or an ENFP. They win the crown of that because they're naturally very playful and able to find the fun in things. Whereas, yeah, other types will try to compete for that trophy, but I would personally give it to the EPs.
What about like, doesn't your FE kind of aid in that?
It does, yeah. I think I'm very fun to flirt with. I think people love flirting with me and teasing me. It happens so often. I am the object in which ESTPs like to mess with or poke around with because they see so much material to flirt with. And I do play back, but it is quite funny to have some extroverted party aggressively flirting with you.
Yeah. I think flirting is something I never ever want to give up. And some people have commented that I flirt with everyone that I do a video with, and it's like not intentional, but I flirt a lot with my boyfriend every day. All the time we're together, I'm making like little comments and grabbing him because he's mine and I can. But I don't ever want to lose like the sexual tension. It's like it's the best kind of tension to feel. And I love building that up, and being playful with it. I like to keep the romance alive kind of thing. So I think if you're with a good if you're with an EP, you're going to keep the romance alive, at least in that like playful sort of sense. It's not going to get old.
It is true. It'll always stay young. EPs are young children at heart, no matter what age they are at. And that shows in how they are able to stay playful, no matter what age they are. And I appreciate that a lot. I love flirting and I love compliments and I love good vibes. I could eat that all up all day. It's literally indefinite how much I could take of that. It's a good ego boost and it's a good relational indicator that things are going well as well. And so I like that, knowing that everyone is happy in the relationship and safe enough to be a little bit playful and a little bit pushing the edge of things.
Okay. Yeah. Pushing the edge of things is definitely an indication that I feel safe in a place, for sure. Because that's like, I'm not afraid of your feelings or the emotional backlash of having a little fun. But are you good at taking compliments?
I've gotten better with it over time. I appreciate compliments a lot. And I like just emotionally connective elements to things, whether it's through that or through another way. I really like Kiersey's way of putting it. So he talks about how NFs want soulmates, and I find that to be really true for myself. And he said that NTs want mind mates, and that SJs want helpmates, and that SPs want playmates. And I think interesting way.
That's very interesting. Huh. I like that. So yeah, do you think that you're looking for a soulmate?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking for someone I can feel an emotional connection with and an intimate, vulnerable, you can take down all of your masks around them and feel like your whole self around them. Almost like you can take down everything that's not you and to be you around them, and whatever form that is, and diving into deep intellectual conversation about the universe or something, about people, about culture, about the direction of the universe. When I talk to INFJs who are in relationships, the ones that are really happy in relationships tend to describe how they'll have conversations with their partners very often. And I find that to be very important to me too, because I like to connect with a person's mind a little bit as well, understand how they see the world or just how they see things. I find a person's mind to be an aphrodisiac. And so that's what I like to explore. It's almost like mind boners or soul boners are where I kind of like to be in the realm of.
Yeah. So how would you describe your soulmate?
I would describe my soulmate as someone who is able to take me unfiltered. And I think everyone looks for that in a certain extent. I kind of see my friends as a theater, and I see my soulmate as someone in my first row. So someone who I would consider my first row. And in order to reach that, I have to be at a certain level of transparency with this person, that I can be raw and honest. Because as an INFJ, I can typically show my FE to the world and be socially appropriate or know what to say that will land well. But I would like someone who I can have my TI self around, who I can say opinions that may not be as popular, my own take on things, what I think about things, having a mind of my own about certain topics, and being able to say that with someone without them getting totally offended at my point of view and things. So when an INFJ can show you their introverted thinking, their TI, you know that they're starting to feel close with you, because they know that they have opinions that may be taken the wrong way by other people, but they can't say it around other people because they have a socially appropriate filter. So if you're able to be that safe space where they're able to have the not so politically correct thoughts around you, you know that an INFJ feels safe enough to voice those with you.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I feel the exact same way as far about my TI and having to hide a lot of it from the world, because I just have found people don't really like TI very much. And in most social situations, I have to put the FE forward, which is kind of exhausting for me in terms of like, I can do it for a short period of time and have fun, but then I get tired if it's not a scenario where I can bring out my TI. And but often I don't feel safe enough to express it. But I have seen a lot of ESTPs who seem to be more comfortable with doing so. And I think that that could be a difference in genders and also with the subtypes. So I don't know if you know Victor Gulenko's subtypes, but like everybody thinks of ESTPs as like the dominant subtype, but I'm not that one. I'm the normative one, which sounds so boring, but it's just more orderly, more business oriented, more like likely to be interested in real estate and hold their opinions back to themselves unless they're very angry. And so I tend to just like find myself quiet in a lot of social situations because I don't want to engage my FE for very long. And I don't see that these people want my TI. So I don't think that they want what I have to offer. It sounds like kind of a similar experience to what you're talking about.
The higher up extroverted feeling is, the more reflexive it is. So the more automatic it is. When a situation appears, you're more likely to default to your FE. And so oftentimes I do have a very FE persona, that kind hostess, that friendly hostess persona. And it takes a special sort of someone to be able to knock down those walls and to be able to ask me my true opinions of things. And for me to trust that they'll take it well.
Mm-hmm. Do you find that it's easier for you to express your TI with like high TI users? Because they're like, yeah, I'm not going to judge any of this. This is just interesting.
Yeah. Sometimes high TI users, if they're comfortable around you, they're quicker to share their TI too. So they'll be like, wow, they trust me with this opinion. Interesting.
Yeah, it could be they just like don't care and tell it to everybody. I think that TI likes to like throw out little tests of it, like, okay, could you handle this little bit of it? Like, oh, you liked that, you laughed, okay, I can throw more of that in. So it's like a little game of like, how much me can you take?
Yeah. How much can I push the envelope until you seem uncomfortable?
Yeah. And that's fun. Maybe not for the other person, but it is fun for me. But I wonder if that's an experience of people who have the FE and TI in the middle, where they're more like on balance with each other.
Yeah. I think what's also characteristic of having that in the middle is that you're always aware of your opinion of things, even if you do feel and look very FE like. You are always in touch with your opinion and own take on things. Because with ENFJs who have TI in the last slot, they're not always aware of what they really truly think about a situation sometimes. But the INFJ and the ESTP within the middle always know what they think about something. It's about whether or not they want to put on that face that is like, that looks nice and is kind, but they're always secretly aware of what they think about a situation.
Will you like be nodding in agreement with things that you don't actually agree with, but it's just not worth the argument?
Yes.
Yes. Was this one of them?
No.
I know, I'm kidding you. But you know, as far as flirting goes, does that put you in a position where you are trying to, oh, you got food?
Yes, thank you. I found one of them.
Nice. Does that put you in a position where you're just trying to mirror the other person a little too much and maybe not revealing enough of like who you really are?
Yeah, it's a huge problem I have, actually. I do mirror people so much that I forget to show who I really am to people. So people can leave an event and not really know who I am at all. They're like, oh, I really liked Joyce, but I learned nothing about her. They realize
Yeah.
that way after a lot of events. It's something I'm trying to correct.
Yeah. How are you going to correct that?
I realized that I need to share facts about myself or something about myself, so I'm not a complete mystery or enigma. And I think sometimes with introverts on the dating scene, it can be difficult because they're not disclosing enough about themselves. They're a little bit too much of a closed book. And so oftentimes people are like, who is that person? And you have to share a little bit about yourself in order for people to feel close with you. And so getting past that privacy or that natural secrecy that you have by accident because you're not sharing just because someone hasn't asked about it is a little bit of the introvert struggle in the dating scene.
Do you feel like when you're sharing about yourself that you're being rude because
Yes.
you're talking about yourself? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I could say 2 sentences and say, oh, did I talk too much? Maybe I'll just let someone else speak. And then someone's like, oh, did you even speak at all? So it's this mismatch between how much I think I'm speaking and how much I actually am speaking, because I just don't want to take up space because I'm sensitive to it and I don't mind other people taking up space. And so what can happen is a mismatched conversation where the other person is dominating and I'm like, oh, interesting. I'm learning a lot about you. Great.
Yeah. And that's great for the other person if they love talking about themselves. But what if they don't? And that's actually making them uncomfortable.
Then I'll talk more. That might be a strategy to get me to talk more. If I notice you're being uncomfortable because I'm not talking, then I will interject. But I'm naturally pretty fine with silence.
Your personality is unique. It's hard to find someone that understands you. Try dating using personality type matching. Find out who you're compatible with using Myers Briggs and Big 5 personality scores. Download TypeMatch and start dating by personality type compatibility today. TypeMatch, available on App Store and Play Store.